Welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Tony Uglini, and today we check in with electric services. My guest today is Donald Kaum, the director of the Ames Electric Services. Welcome to the show, Don.
Thank you for having me.
So, Don, how long have you been working with the city? And can you tell us a little bit about what the Director of Electric Services does?
Sure can. I've been here a little over 10 years, so almost 11 in January. Director of Electric Services, we have basically, underneath my supervision, there are basically 5 areas. One area is our distribution office. Those are our linemen that take care of when there are outages or to put up lines and things like that. We have tech services. They deal with our meters, and if you have any kind of power quality issues, they'll handle that. We have engineering, which basically designs and plans for new installations. As Ames continues to grow, we'll then put in that system. We have our power plant located at the end of Main Street. We have other generation over off of Edison. That's our 4th area. And then we have administration, which is our 5th area. And actually we have a 6th area I just thought of. We also have our energy markets, and that sounds a little strange, but we're constantly buying or selling energy to meet the needs of the city.
Earlier this year, we transitioned from coal to gas. What went into this decision, and how did the operations change at the power plant?
A lot really went into the decision. We have been operating on coal-fired generation for nearly 100 years. Back in 2013, the Environmental Protection Agency started looking at new rules and regulations that would impact our power plant. And at that time, staff sat down with an engineer, and we compared, okay, what would the future look like on coal versus what would the future look like on natural gas? We sat down and we saw the opportunities, or it was better for the utility to switch to natural gas, went to City Council, and in 2013 they authorized staff to begin converting the plant. The good news is that both units, this is unit 7 and 8 that sit at the end of Main Street, that conversion was completed here recently this spring. So now both of our units that traditionally ran on coal-fired are now powered using natural gas.
But gas isn't the only fuel that we use.
Oh, absolutely not. The City of Ames actually has a neat portfolio when we're supplying our customers. Our generation is predominantly natural gas on Main Street. However, we do offset that partially with what's called RDF. That's a fancy term, refuse-derived fuel. What is refuse-derived fuel? It is the county's municipal waste, so things that you throw away in your garbage can, are brought to the City of Ames, processed. They take out the things like glass and aluminum, that gets recycled, and the burnable stuff is shredded, processed, fluffed if you will, and sent to the power plant, and we mix that with natural gas to provide electricity to the residents of Ames. That's RDF. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. It's historically or traditionally, most people actually bury garbage. I mean, you hear about landfills and stuff like that. The neat thing in Ames is there are no active landfill in Story County. So we take your garbage and we actually turn that into a fuel, which then creates electricity. So right now, some of this electricity, you could say, is being provided by the garbage you throw away. Beyond RDF, we also have wind. We have 36 megawatts of wind that we've contracted for over a 20-year period that sits over near Colo and Ziering. And those are 24 wind turbines, like on a day like today, are spinning pretty good. We're getting a lot of wind energy.
Yeah.
Again, very environmentally friendly, and that provides anywhere between 10 and 15% of our daily needs. The other thing that we have is we do have 2 peaking units. So on the absolute hottest days or during emergencies, we can run a couple of peaking generators that sit over on Edison to provide any emergency or backup or peak shaving energy. The other thing that we have is we also are constantly looking at the energy market. We are interconnected with a bunch of other utilities. So we'll look on a day-by-day basis and say, should we run our power plant higher or should we lower it and buy from the market? So when the market is cheaper, we'll buy that energy and bring that into Ames.
Oh, yeah.
So we're constantly on an hour-by-hour basis looking at what we can do for the betterment of Ames's electric customers.
So energy conservation is a very popular topic. And one thing that the Ames Electric Services customers can do is buy a home energy audit. Why should they do this?
Now, you said an interesting word. You said buy a home energy audit. Let me correct you right there.
Ooh.
It costs you nothing. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. Our home energy audits are free. And let me explain that more on a broader scale. You know, you just got done asking me all of our generation. Where does the electricity come from? Another neat component of our energy portfolio, if you will, is we're one of those weird businesses. We're actually trying to convince you to use less of our product. And that seems weird, but we have this whole suite of services called demand-side energy or demand-side management, really. And what we do is I would prefer to give you a rebate if you would put in a more efficient air conditioner or a more efficient washer or maybe an LED light bulb versus a compact fluorescent or even an incandescent. What you're asking me about is a home energy audit.
Yes.
Okay, so what that is you'd be surprised, and I've even had one done on my home, and I was surprised when I got the report. But we have some professionals called the Energy Group out of Des Moines that come up, and they will walk through your house, or they'll even do commercial businesses. And they'll come into your house, and they can work around, they'll take measurements. If it's an older house, they do what's called a blower door test. And basically, they put some equipment on the front door and they check to see how much air leakage you have throughout your house.
Oh, wow.
Yep, they'll look at insulating values. How much insulation do you have? They'll look at the lighting. And they come out with a fairly detailed report that says, if you can do this and this and this and this, you can save on your energy consumption, both heating and cooling. And in the long run, even investing a little bit of money on some of these projects will quickly pay for itself. I remember, for example, on my audit, I happen to have a gas fireplace. Okay, no big deal. I've always left the pilot on, never thought about it, and they showed me that if I'd turn my pilot light off in my gas fireplace, I think I would save like $20 or $30. If I turn it off in May and turn it back on in November, I could save that much money. Yeah, because and it's actually creating heat, which then my air conditioner has to work a little bit harder. So it's real interesting having somebody else walk through your house that are professionals and can tell you things you can save money on.
Yeah. So how do customers sign up for that?
That's real easy. If you can go to our website, it's www.cityofames, all one word, .org, and in there you can go to Smart Energy, and through there are all of our different programs, both commercial and residential. And on our residential page, it's the last line. You just click on that, type in your name and address, and we get it set up for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So what about the rebates? Can you say a little bit more about that?
In our business, what we're trying to do is avoid that next generator, building that next big power plant. And by us encouraging our customers, it's not so much to use less energy, but more importantly, it's to lower or prevent that next peak demand. Because the peak demand, which typically occurs in the summer, hot day, air conditioners running, all that good stuff, if we can shave that off, we can delay the next time we need a generator. And if we can delay that, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars of investment. So even if I can delay that 1 year, that saves our customers a lot of money. So by encouraging more efficient equipment, air conditioners, not hot water heaters, but appliances and things like that, we then have the ability to push off the need for that next generator.
So Don, you have some meetings coming up. Will you talk a little bit about that?
I sure will. The electric department has an advisory board, okay, appointed by the mayor. And this was started back in 1982. Couple of the topics that are coming up, the big question or some of the big issues right now is regarding solar and solar power and solar panels. And there are a couple of initiatives that we're looking at. We've recently had a meeting with URAB and the public, and that occurred on the 6th of October, where we're looking at, we have a concept, or in our rate design, we have something called net metering. And what net metering does is it looks at people that have installed a solar panel or a wind turbine or something on their home. And this net metering deals with how do you handle power flowing into a customer and then flowing out, and how do you treat that? And we're looking at some changes to the current language just to correct some things that aren't working exactly the way we'd like them to. So that's what we discussed on the 6th, got community input with URAB board, and then eventually whatever we ultimately decide to do to change that will go to City Council here in the coming months to become adopted. The other thing that's happening is there's many people that like solar, but maybe they're renters. Maybe they have a house that doesn't face the right way, or they really don't want to put solar panels on their own home. We're encouraged that we have the possibility of building a community solar project. And the first part of that is what does the model look like? For example, does the utility build a solar panel or solar farm and then allow everybody to use it? So kind of socialize the costs and the benefits. That's kind of what we did with wind. Another concept that is out there is there are some residents that feel so strongly about it that they themselves want to somehow participate. And that's kind of a different model where we could say, okay, would you like to participate and enjoy the solar power specifically? So we've had a report done that is looking at different models, and that's the first step. And on the 18th of October, and this is his real name, Tom Wind, he's doing a solar study. So Tom Wind did a solar study for us, and he'll be making his presentation. And again, this will get some community feedback on maybe the model or the direction that maybe URAB and or the council should go. Following that, some of the intricacies of this is once we decide that we're going to go ahead and move with a solar farm or a solar system. I hate saying solar system because it sounds like I'm talking about Jupiter. But with the solar system, then one of the biggest challenges is finding a good place to put it. Solar panels, we think we need about 10 acres. And obviously the 10 acres, it has to, not a lot of trees around it, not a lot of buildings. So that'll be one of our next challenges is where in the city do you put it?
Yeah.
And we got to figure that out. Then we have a few things we got to roll out. How will people participate if that's the direction we go? Should it be owned by the city or should it be owned by a third party? And there's some nuances with federal funding, federal taxes, and things like that make one option maybe better than another. So there's a lot of more questions that we got to try to answer. But I'm hopeful that in the very near future we'll have a solar farm sitting somewhere in Ames.
Thanks for being on the show today, Don.
It's my pleasure.
For more information regarding the Ames Electric Services or the rebates discussed today, please visit our website at cityofames.org/smartenergy. And remember, Halloween is coming up, and recommended trick-or-treat hours in Ames is Monday, October 31st from 5:30 to 7:30. That's all for this week. Be sure to tune in next week for This Week in Ames.